The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway and historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted. It's Wednesday, October 2nd. It's the beginning of the Halloween season, and there's nothing spookier than a new episode of Pro Wrestling Unscripted here on the Podzilla 1985 podcast. My name is Shannon Young. Of course, I'm going to be your host tonight. Do want to apologize about last night's show. I was not feeling well, and we just decided to take a night off. Went home, tried to relax and play some Red Dead Online with Bob. They put out the new bounty, and I could not get my internet to work on my Xbox correctly, so just wasted that time, fell asleep on my chair. With that said, with me tonight, Asa Gray, the 5-star man.
All 5.
Allie, not actually a couch.
Hi.
No. No.
What kind of couch?
And Dalton Anthony, Big D.
Yo.
So, if you'd like to know what we're laughing about, normally, as you know, we do a pre-show before every show. And for $1, you can unlock all of that. However, we decided that to kind of drum up excitement for it, we're releasing the very first pre-show of every month for free, which that's tonight's, unfortunately, for all of us. You can go to our Patreon, which is Asa.
Patreon.com/Podzilla1985.
And you can listen to that for free. And if you like what you hear, $1 gets you a subscription. Also, I am excited to say that we are beginning talks about revamping the Patreon again with some really cool new tiers. I need to talk with you guys because Jesse and I have been doing
This is an announcement to me.
Well, it just literally started today. Jesse and I started bouncing ideas off each other, and I told him I was going to talk to you guys about it tonight. Obviously, I don't want to talk about it on the air, but after the show, we'll kind of talk about it a little bit. But it's exciting. I like some of the ideas. Anywho, we're here to talk about pro wrestling tonight. Wow, I right into Mike Tyson right there. Pro wrestling tonight. We just wrapped up.
Was that Tyson or Jay Leno?
Yeah, it was pretty close.
It was Jay Tyson.
Mike Leno.
Not Little Fitty. What was his name?
That's Mandy.
Did you ever hear 50 Tyson?
Oh, I'm Fitty Tyson. I remember that one.
I have not.
It's a really bad, early YouTube thing.
But completely legitimate.
Yeah,
dude, he's a rapper. His name's 50 Tyson because he looks like a mix of 50 Cent and Mike Tyson. So he calls himself 50 Tyson. And he raps, he freestyles. And his freestyle is so awkwardly bad, even full circle, Kevin Hart made a video making fun of him, which was pretty funny. Anyway, go check that out. We just wrapped up AEW's first show. Well, actually, as of right now, it's 15 minutes left in it. They're in the main event. Yeah. We'll probably talk about it next week, like a full review of it, and NXT to the first episode of the first night of the Wednesday Night War, which, by the way, Asa, as you mentioned on CCW Live, technically we're grandfathered into the victory.
Yeah, okay, so just real quick, this is some BS because someone was like, why would you do this on the night of AEW on Facebook? And I was like, we've had that slot. We've had this slot for
over
a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yes.
AEW complains about they're counter programming us. AEW and NXT are counter programming us.
We know we are. We're ECW. They're WWE and WCW. We're ECW. And you guys love ECW, right? You still chant it 40 years later. They just made a t-shirt for it at CCW, so clearly it's still popular. Let's get into the news of wrestling. And I'm looking over the list here. Some big news, especially when it comes to...
Yeah, no, this is actually so there's not many stories, but every story is pretty hefty.
So I want to start with something that caught my eye, and I'm very interested in this, even though it's definitely not the top story of the week, but I want to talk about it before I forget that it's important to me. Mm-hmm. And that is Chikara is releasing a game. I knew they were making a game. It's already coming out?
Yeah, it comes out next week.
I think Tuesday.
It says Tuesday on here.
Yeah, it's hitting Steam Early Access or something.
Wow.
Tuesday. Let me find the Chikara tweet about it because it looks kind of... apparently the grapple system is very similar to the No Mercy engine.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Let me see where...
also...
Chikara Action Arcade Wrestling, it looks like.
My super awesome retro soft game that's coming out soon, the Retromania, they got John Morrison.
Oh, really?
He's going to be in the game. They just announced that one.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's actually really, really cool.
I know. I saw.
So do they know what the name is going to be?
Johnny Retro.
Johnny Retro.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
Let me find the official.
Because I was going to say they constantly are doing the. Let me find the Matt Quarkin. I think.
Yeah, it's Johnny Retro.
So it's Unreal Engine 4, and it's supposed to replicate the WrestleFest and Saturday Night Slam Masters style of wrestling.
Yeah, so it's more of an arcade game. But yeah,
and the reason I want to talk about it is I want to like this because I think Chikara's kind of cool. Like, I know you're thinking, Shannon, we know you would clearly hate Chikara, but I think Chikara's a lot like the Lucha Underground, where you know what you're getting into and you can enjoy it for what it is. I always thought Chikara was kind of neat, and I'm always on the lookout, as you know, Asa, because you were the same way, for the next good wrestling game that's not 2K. So we wait and wait and wait. And we got Retro Mania, like Dalton said, and now we have Chikara. Mm-hmm. And as far as I can tell, those are the only wrestling games on the horizon right now.
So I asked you last week, and then Hunter actually put it in the group chat because I was kind of mad about it because I wanted to ask Dalton specifically. But so 2K20 coming out this month.
Yeah, the 20th. Yeah.
Monday Night Raw, completely new set, completely new broadcast team, completely new opening, completely new Then Now Forever. Mm-hmm. SmackDown, you have to assume the same. Mm-hmm. Is this already the most out-of-date WWE game we've ever had? And we ask that question all the friggin' time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not because, but so I'm actually really nervous about this game because we're going, today's the 2nd.
Which, by the way, you need to pay me for that.
Lonnie will get his money on the 20th.
Okay.
21st, probably.
Sure.
Yeah, he'll get his money.
Hey.
He'll get his money for sure. It comes out when you're listening to it 17 days from when you're listening.
You don't know when they're listening to it.
I mean, if they're listening
to this on Friday?
On the 3rd. All right, so it drops tonight. All right, so it's 2 weeks away, a little bit over 2 weeks away. Maybe sooner if you're waiting 3 weeks to listen to our episode. We still really don't know who's in the game. We're getting roster reveals one person at a time randomly. They just haven't told us a whole lot. They dropped the track list Monday.
Yeah, they sure did, didn't they? That's a good one.
Sadie and I both said, we don't know any of these songs. Nor half of these people.
Exact same. I told Allie, hey, Post Malone's on there because Allie's a huge Post Malone fan.
So are you.
And she was like, which
one
song?
Of those... He keeps backtracking.
I was going to say, he says it like it's an insult to you, but then he's like, well, I mean, no, of course I wouldn't listen to that repeat.
He has the same songs on his playlist that I have on mine.
Yeah, but you have a lot more.
So
anyway, I just said the same.
So what we're saying is that list is like that, and we have somebody from the age of 21 to
74,
37.
Who's 37?
You.
Shut the fuck up.
And there's our one that just don't know the songs, but we just don't know a lot going into it. They haven't done a mass dump by now of
because usually they
have the roster out by now.
They have the entire roster, and there's been times where they literally give
entrance videos for every wrestler.
They've done that, but what I was getting at was the last 2 or 3 years, 2 weeks up, they literally give all these Let's Players.
Oh yeah, Dink Ops and
full access to the game. Not don't do this, don't do this.
Create suites and all
they
that.
They literally give them a copy of the game and say,
"Have fun,
record away."
Yep.
And we haven't gotten anything. We've only gotten entrance videos, only a couple of them, and it looks like 2K.
Yeah, legitimately 4 entrance videos so far. Kevin Owens, China, Aleister Black, and
I want to say Andrade, but that doesn't seem right.
No, I forget who it is. It's Austin.
It was Austin,
yeah. Austin. Mm-hmm. And a couple thoughts on that. One is China looks terrible. And by that, I mean she looks amazing. I don't know how to get non-offensive about this. She looks so much more feminine in her character model than she ever looked in real life. And I'm not saying she didn't look feminine.
Here's what I think they did. I think they put the wrong body to head size because, her body did change a whole lot while she was in WWE.
It did.
I think they gave her shoulders were too broad for the China they were going for. Mm-hmm. I think they were trying to give her early China where she was before the surgeries and.
But she also had the supermodel face almost.
Yeah,
it just looks a little.
They
odd.
kind of if I show you the video, you'd kind of see where I'm saying where it doesn't really match up. I think they just kind of here's China, here's what we think she looked like.
Yeah,
but you have the WWE Network where you can literally
go and look exactly what she looks like.
Yeah,
I mean, cool that she's in it. I'm very happy about that.
Mm-hmm. But I still haven't seen I haven't It sounds like there's not much to see, but I haven't seen any because I don't
looks
get
like
excited.
2K19.
I don't get excited for these games. Like, it's,
And I can see why on this one.
the games aren't fun. Like
last year, I would have argued the fact, and I probably did, because last year
19 was a lot of fun.
they released all the info. The roster was great. It was a great roster. But this year, we've gotten so little. And then I disagree with Dalton completely. I think this is the most outdated WWE game in history.
No.
From a production standpoint, if nothing else.
No.
Name one game that was worse than
They had to-
literally everything being different.
They literally have had to go back and be like, free DLC of this character's new gimmick that happened like 2 weeks after we made the game, or like started making the game.
So do you think the Fiend is going to be in?
He is in the game.
He's confirmed.
The Fiend is.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I forgot about that.
But like Shad from Crime Time.
Oh, when he was the HNIC.
Yeah, they like switched it, and they were like,
Oh, because they split.
Yeah, they split, and they split like right when they started making the game. So they did Crime Time, and then they were like, "Wait a minute, free CLDs, free DLC."
You're looking at me like I'm crazy. He cut a single promo where he was the HNIC.
And this was on WWE TV?
I don't think it was on TV. I think it was on an online thing.
Ali, do you know what HNIC stands for?
Nope.
And I'm not joking. I'm
This is-
assuming it's head
Yes.
in charge. Okay.
Yes, which is they gave it to Mia Yim, but she's the head baddie in charge, so she's the HBIC.
Okay.
Uh,
I like HNIC. I really do, because I'm kind of.
let me double check that, because if I'm wrong, I'm a terrible.
That's what
human.
he did. That's what he did in Ohio Valley for sure.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But
Yeah.
he adopted a very similar character when he turned on JTG.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm thinking of the OV. Maybe I'm thinking of the
OVW run.
OVW run.
Sadie's giving me NXT spoilers right now, and I'm not a fan of it. Well, no, I'm a huge fan of it. We have Adam Cole's feud.
Yeah, I saw that. Which we are not going to get into. We're not getting into it.
And I'm going to War Games this year.
Yeah.
Sadie's concerned about her ovaries.
Shit, she literally put, "Yup, my ovaries."
Anyway, Asa, back to your question. 2K20 looks like it's. I want it to be fun because last year I got it on Xbox, got it on PS4. This year we're getting on the same system so we can play together. But I'm also worried about it. But I think it's horribly outdated. But it's not really their fault. This is not their fault.
But you saying they had to change a character because his gimmick was
But like,
wrong.
and there's been times where it's like, all right, cool, Goldust came back. And
I'm not talking about roster. I'm not talking about an outdated
all right,
roster.
Here's the thing. And like, this is where I'm going to get into the argument of it.
Okay.
If you were going to be like, this is super outdated, okay.
Why do you say it like that?
If you're saying this is super outdated, why? The arenas. Okay, I'm going to see the arenas for like 30 seconds at a time. You know what I'm going to worry about? If my roster's outdated. And that does happen.
No, the roster is more important. I'm not saying that it's
Like empirically more important.
I'm sorry.
roster's
China's
more
on the roster. How's that not outdated?
Shut
Oh
the
my god! But also you say you only see the arena for the entrances and like in the background. The commentary is all over is on every single match.
That's always been a thing though, because it's just like they've done it to where JR's been
one or two people are missing, or they bring in like classic teams and totally snub whoever's doing the actual commentary team because was it last year that they had the Raw booth do Raw and SmackDown?
Oh, it's been a while.
And
I
like
think.
Tom Phillips wasn't even in the game.
Yeah.
That's been a thing for years.
Yeah,
where, like
so
they just
but
take people off.
But now it's even worse because now like
Not a single person.
No one on Raw is on Raw anymore.
Well, technically, though, if you want to get technical with it, if it's Graves and Cole, it's the reverse of that because now it's just the SmackDown team.
now
doing
it's
both.
it's the
So it's only half off.
Yeah.
Well, that's not super outdated at all. It's only one team.
unless you're doing
Would you say
the
that?
flagship show.
Would you say that production and pageantry in wrestling has anything to do with the value of the promotion? Because if you do, I'd say that having the production being completely off does play a big part in the game. Because roster's fine, but
They haven't.
but it's not again. It's not their fault.
Well,
2K
no,
did
it's-
not
yeah,
know
it's
that
not 2K's
WWE was
fault.
going to do that.
But here's the thing with like they haven't done separate booths like that since like 2007.
Well, I'm talking about like Asa said, set design, intro music, stuff like that. And a follow up question: do you think they'll put it in?
No.
And a patch, or do you think they'll just leave it till next year?
Somebody will make it.
they don't
They literally do the creation suite for that reason.
they don't care they don't update stuff like that because it falls into
But they
the whole-
have.
it's the same like 2K and EA like they do the same, they just reskin
Yeah, but okay, so
a slight graphical upgrade, they update the roster for whatever's accurate 4 months out from.
but occasionally they do fix things that are like a little outdated. Like I think of Finn Balor, his entrance in 2K18, I think, or 17. Whenever they put his entrance out, it was very clearly not as close to what he was doing as they intended originally. Because when
They
he first
changed
came
entrances,
out, when he first came out, people weren't doing the arm race thing on the music because they didn't know to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after so long, 2K actually put out a patch where they put in a new entrance for him where they did it more close to it. So I think there is a chance if the omission is so glaring that they could possibly put in the new set or at least the pieces for it so you can make your own. It's a possibility. Maybe they'll sell it as a DLC. Call it the catch-up pack.
And I'm going to counter with sometimes they go in and tighten things
I didn't
up.
realize that.
They tighten things up, and I'm going to counter that with what was the DLC pack that genuinely had Jerry Lawler on commentary?
It was,
he's going for no, I said the wrong thing. Okay, hang on. Okay, we'll
Jesus,
wrap it up.
I forgot about that.
They left in the entire audio mistake.
This is live, pal.
It was 2K17, and it was in the Showcase DLC mode.
Okay.
So that one,
you paid money to get this thing, and they left in such a glaring omission. That is not a Starbucks cup in the background of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Sometimes I've paid for games like Anthem, and they just never supported it past the initial life.
And I'm not saying that's good.
Okay, but what about her emails?
Jesus.
Congratulations. Yes, that is also a thing that got shit on. But no, you're not going to convince me that these 2K games are worth the money. I get you're getting the collector's edition, and that's fine.
I think that, and I disagree. I think that was dumb.
The level of
I bought the deluxe edition.
The level of
you only got deluxe. Yeah. That's all Sadie got too.
The level of detail that gets left out, and the number of features that they take out just to make a big deal about putting them back in.
So can I be honest with you about why? And
they haven't done that in forever.
This is so stupid. A part of the reason I wanted to get 2K20 this year, and this is so stupid, because in the past year, Dalton and I have really increased our stock in CCW, and I think there's a legitimate chance that guys like Caleb and them will make stuff for us. And I'm I depend so much on people's approval.
There it is.
Thank you. I want to play with myself.
You make yourself every year.
Yeah, but I want someone else to do it.
I really thought you were gonna say something else. Because I'm bummed you didn't.
I'm not going for the low hanging fruit.
Well, it doesn't hang that low.
That's the only one Logan can get. Anyway, I'm looking at the Chikara game right now on Steam, and
do we have a price on it?
I want to say it's probably going to be like 20 or 30. No, there's no price on it right now.
Dang it.
Which is weird considering it comes out in a week. And you can add it to your wish list, but you can't save it. But you can't. Okay, you can right now download for free on the Chikara Steam, the Steam Chikara, the Wrestle Factory, which is the companion app where you can make your own wrestlers, arena, and federations ahead of the game so you can put them in. That's kind of cool. I might download that tonight.
That's pretty cool.
So good on you, man. I hope Chikara, it has a cel-shaded look. It looks like it could be fun. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'm sure Dalton will probably pick it up. I'll probably pick it up too, and we'll let you know how it goes. But let's move on, though. Ace is excited about this one, and congratulations. Rusev, official U.S. citizen.
After 14 years.
Rusev number 1.
Rusev is an American citizen, officially. And how does he get repaid? We'll talk about Raw later.
Uses
that's what you get for getting that citizenship. I'm also going to take this opportunity to alienate a large chunk of our audience, I'm sure. But check out John Oliver's thing about immigration and how difficult it actually is to become an American citizen.
Yeah.
I don't think you're alienating any of our listeners.
Our listeners, for this show. Yeah, so 14 years it took him to get that citizenship. Jesus. It's a huge deal, and big congratulations, but also, hey, our country's broken in a fundamental way.
I mean, in that same video, John Oliver talks about what it took him 4, 5, 6 years or something like that. He checked back every year.
Never knowing if he was actually going to be able to come back home every time he left. But no, so
turns out he could have just... Never mind. I don't want to get political. It's not worth it. I don't want to be upset. Go ahead.
It's an awesome thing for him. And he clearly worked very, very hard to get there. But yeah. I thought it was newsworthy to bring that up because
why does he now look like such a porn star?
Because his story.
Oh Jesus,
we'll get there.
All right, so this is big news, and we're skipping around here on the list here, but this is huge news, and that is that CM Punk and Colt Cabana have settled. There's those little gnats are back, driving me nuts. Colt Cabana and CM Punk have settled out of court on the lawsuit filed by. Well, didn't they sue each other?
No, Colt sued Punk, and then Punk countersued. Yeah.
I saw Punk's response to a fan on Twitter. Did you see it?
Yes.
And he made a lot of good points. It's a shame. I don't know these guys personally.
I was gonna say we're gonna preview everything we're about to say with none of us know either of these men in any sort of meaningful way.
Only met one.
We have met
like
Colt Cabana like twice.
Every time we've met Colt Cabana, we've been standing by each other.
Because we've been in the same place where he's been. We've met him in the same way.
No, what I'm saying is, like, I just realized, like, I was like, well, I've met him 3 times, and then I had to think of all 3, and I was like, hell, you were there every time.
Asa, please, Asa.
So it's not
just the facts.
No,
we don't know.
But we don't know the man.
Yeah.
We don't know him in a meaningful way. We don't know their relationship. We have absolutely no meaningful knowledge to this. So all we can do is speculate
and report what they've said.
Yeah, and go off of what it's very much just the he said.
Yeah, and it's a very much. I thought it was a shame that. Because everything I knew about Colt Cabana was that he and Punk were such good friends, and it's a shame to see their friendship end this way.
Whenever
Punk being very critical of him on Twitter, saying you don't know the real Colt Cabana.
It broke my heart recently. Like at the beginning of the summer, whenever Phantom Corner was still open, they were selling like used DV or like WWE Blu-rays, and they had the Best in the World documentary in there. So I was like, it was like $4. Like I'm gonna buy this and watch it. And like they started doing the Colt Cabana talking heads, and I'm like.
Yeah,
this doesn't age well.
They were so close, and for them to end up the way that they did because of the lawsuit filed by WWE, which he won.
Yeah, they won.
They won the fight, but lost the war, unfortunately. But it's done. It's over. And where do they go from here? Legally, I don't know, because they settled out of court.
Hopefully, they're separate ways, and they don't. Yeah, this doesn't keep being a thing.
I don't want this to turn into like a Twitter feud.
Right.
Unless they become like friends again, that would be cool, but like I'm not holding my breath for that.
And I honestly don't think Punk is the kind of person that would engage in that kind of thing. Like I think he
would retaliate less. He would not be aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think he would. I think he would just kind of, and even what we've gotten here with that one lady being weirdly like defensive of Colt, because this is the thing with being a public figure. Like Seth Rollins deleted his Twitter account. I don't know if it's still deleted or if it's if he ended up bringing it back, but like. He and Sasha, Sasha made fun of one of his posts, and then he responded to her because Sasha's in a feud with Becky.
Right.
So he made a post about getting to wrestle Rey Mysterio. She made a joke post talking about her match with Alexa Bliss, and used the exact same language and like everything else, same picture, all of that. And then he responded to her, and the Sasha Banks fanatics, not fans, fanatics. The type of people that are like stalking Renee Young and sending her death threats because of her relationship with John Moxley, like, or Dean Ambrose at the time, when they talked about like having to move and get better, like a security system and all of that. Y'all are crazy. You don't know these people.
Yeah, they're not your friends.
They're whatever relationship you think you have with them, you don't, man. Like, and I get part of it. Some of it is there is a certain level of like mental unwellness that goes into that, and that like some people like I genuinely don't think can really help it. But there are like completely, I don't
happens
know.
with everybody.
It gets weird. Like there's some weird standing going on that just shouldn't happen. And so this lady was very much like, oh well, Colt Cabana is this, and this. The
sweetest guy ever.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm sure you've had interactions with him, maybe, but man, like, and then and Punk kind of like was like, nope, this is my experience. And again,
Punk, I thought, took a very high road with it.
The way CM Punk knows Colt Cabana and the way I'm sure other people know Colt Cabana are entirely different. You're gonna hear, like, I guarantee you, every single one of us at this table have people that love us and people that if you talk to, they tell a very different version of who they think we are as people. Except for maybe Allie.
Yeah, she's generally a sweetheart everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allie's the one. You called Trending Trent Daniels a bitch. And then after what you said tonight on CCW Live, you're the most over person we got. It's great.
As a person that legitimately, when I started in the wrestling industry as a character, the parallels between my real life and my character and the hate that I got on both sides, I can attest that people that don't know you think they do a lot of the time just because of the way you act in performance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just a performance, but people don't see that. I really like the story of, I can't remember her name, and now I'm blanking on the TV show. Yes.
It was on ABC, and it was like it was the Disney kind of characters, but it was live action.
Once
Upon a Time. There was an actress in that who was also in House.
Yeah, I forget her name, but she was
Jennifer something.
She played Snow White, right?
No.
I'm on it.
I don't think she was one of the princesses.
She played the mother of the boy.
Snow
Was
White.
that Snow White? Yeah.
Was that Snow White? Okay.
Yeah.
So her character in House was kind of like a meeker, more timid, like kinder, like very kind-hearted person. And she said the way people react to her in like when they recognize her, based on what character they know her as, is entirely different. When people know her as, I'm blanking on her character's name even in House, but like the doctor, whatever, they would come up and, oh, it's very nice to meet you. I'm a big fan, like really appreciate it. They're very soft spoken. They try to be kind of reserved because they know her as that character. Whereas if they recognize her from Once Upon a Time, oh my God, they are like so much more louder and outgoing and just, not crazier, but
No, you're right.
more way more energetic.
You're right.
And so it's crazy to think that, and it's like, and I'm guilty of that all the time. Like I see people on TV and these characters that I like and wrestlers that I like, and it's like, I hope you're like that in real life. Like I hope you're a cool person. Which granted,
A lot of them are.
Yeah, Xavier Woods like very much seems like he's Austin Creed. Like he's the guy that.
Yeah.
The same thing with like the guys from Kind of Funny. Like but they're not really playing characters. They're presenting themselves.
The us that you hear, like the us that you see at CCW, are similar to how we are in real life. I'm kind of a sarcastic.
I'm way more awkward in real life.
I'm a sarcastic dick in real life as I am in here, but I'm also a lot nicer in real life than I am as a character. Dalton's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fucking prick. Just who brags
Just
about
wanna
every
punch
little
him.
accomplishment that he has in life. Allie is always perfect. It's just always perfect.
Not true.
So we're pretty close to who we are on TV. But if I think if you met us outside of here, we'd be very cordial, but probably a little shy.
Oh no, it's been like that. Like Sadie, like the first time I actually like talked to Sadie was driving her back from that Stride show when you were driving JD.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, like a lot of people think you're an asshole. And I was like, I get that. Like I'm like if I am not around my like group, I am so socially weird. It's not that I don't like talking to people. I feel like why would people want to talk to me? So you must want something. So okay.
Let me assess the situation.
Yeah,
figure it out,
and let me get. So it's like I still feel like I'm like overcoming like those impressions that I've made on people in the past because like if they see me, if you guys are backstage or something and like someone just runs into me solo, like I've tried to be better about it. Like I had a really nice talk with a fan Saturday night who was at one of his first CCW shows, and like there's a lady who's been at a couple of the other shows that I've talked to.
I had a lady swing at me.
I don't get that reaction, thankfully, but I'm also not supposed to. So
Yet.
But no, I'm very, very. It's. I was talking to Jesse about this one time. Of just, I feel like I need to put myself in more like social situations, so I'm better at dealing with people. Because it's like I have my group of friends. Quota met. I'm. Everyone else is scary. Like I don't.
I like avoiding social situations. I don't like really interacting with fans, but I also do. It's weird.
It's still weird that like
that we have fans.
I refuse to acknowledge the fact that it's more than just like Hunter and Cody and Tanner and like 12 other people listening to this.
You know when it really finally hit me? I think it was Zane Laney. Zane was like he broke the wall for me where I was like, oh, this dude I've never met before who has no idea who I am likes me and likes listening to me talk. I think that was when it really struck me.
Yeah.
Because even with CCW, a lot of the people that, you always say that I have my fans, even though I'm a bad guy.
Right.
Most of my fans are people like we know.
Yeah.
To be fair. There are some that I had never knew and then they like me. But yeah, Zane was the one that made me think, oh, okay, maybe this is a real thing. This is just us dicking around on Podbean for an hour.
Yeah.
God bless him. Hey, speaking of Punk, though, this is big. So the rumor is that Punk is going back to WWE. And this isn't one of those crazy, like, there's absolutely no snowball chance in hell way. This is legitimately a possibility. Not probably in the sense that you're wanting. He's not probably going to be a WWE performer, but there is a good chance. In-ring performer. But there's a good chance that he might be on one of the Fox Sports 1 shows talking about WWE. That is a legitimate chance. He did apparently some screen testing with Renee Young and Booker T, which everyone's downplayed real hard, except Punk, who was very complimentary of Renee Young, which kind of leans, a little bit of credibility to the story. And he has not been as normally if someone were to say, hey, are you going back to WWE? I imagine his first response is no, piss off. Whereas now he's a little softer on it.
Did you see his thing with StarCast, whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, his interview with Conrad.
I heard parts of it.
Where like he was just like, you never count something like that out really. Like having time away. Like he's never flat out said like, no, I'm coming back. But it's very much like that could happen. It sounds like he's kind of burned bridges with AEW already.
Well, there's that story.
I heard about that.
Where like he said that they texted him, but apparently there was a meeting and Cody was like,
kind of makes us look like assholes whenever you say something like that.
He said they never texted him. He's like, I never got anything from it, and they were very much like, yes, you did.
Oh
and
no, I thought it. No, and again, we're all just speculating on something we could just look up. But I thought it was if a real offer is not sent over a text message. Like he was looking for like a meeting or like something meaningful, as opposed to just like, hey, I'll just text you this, this like kind of
vague.
like kind of ethereal, not concrete, just that really vague kind of like we could totally do that. I mean, I'm kidding. It's a joke, I mean, but really,
no.
though,
If you wanted to work with us, we'd absolutely love to. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Clearly, we wouldn't like actually,
would you like to?
But there's something like stuff like that. But no, there was that rumor a couple weeks ago that I think we might have even talked about on the show, or if we didn't because it was a rumor of his agent, like sending his information to the Fox Sports people who were looking for someone to, analyze WWE. And he's like, oh, my guy's a wrestler. This is a show about wrestling. That would be a fit. And at the time, it sounded like his agent screwed up of just like, why would you suggest
Punk for WWE?
That would be like if someone, if I had representation and they were like, hey, so turns out Red Lobster is looking for someone to be in their new commercial. Like,
my contract says no Red Lobster.
That said, though, I wouldn't not do it. Like, I will take your money
again,
and I will. Yeah, like
I just want the shrimp.
I
So
just want
hungry.
food.
It almost burnt down.
the shrimp,
The Red Lobster. No, the
I know,
Red
yeah.
Lobster.
The deals were so hot. Slammer kept going in there eating 50 buckets of shrimp.
He better have tipped so well. I'm not gonna lie. I had a knot in my stomach when I saw that picture.
You almost wanted to
That's
message
neither
him?
here nor there.
Yeah.
A little bit. But so it's that thing of like at the time we're just like, ooh, wow, that's kind of a not great thing for your agent to do. But then the story kind of continued to evolve, and it was like, oh no, that might actually be something that. And he has such a presence on screen and has such a way with talking. Even that tweet he wrote about like with the to the lady to that woman that was defending Colt and kind of running him down was very masterfully crafted.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the man.
Yeah.
As a performer, as an entertainer, as a speaker,
He's solid.
is second to none.
Yeah.
A
lot of good guys
So
out
good.
there.
There's a lot of great talkers out there, and he's one of the all-time greats.
I agree with that completely.
But so it would be very, very
Skinny
interesting.
little fat ass.
It would be the thing that I'm interested in is because I don't see him kind of doing the puff piece. Like, what would he say about the Rusev, Lashley, Maria, Lana? Like, what would he go on Fox Sports and say that this is great storytelling?
I almost want to quote Winston Zeddemore from Ghostbusters. If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you tell me. I think if they're paying him, he would absolutely go out there and toe the company line if that's what the show is about.
Yeah.
If the show is a
like
kayfabe look.
straight shoot though.
Or
If
could he get away with being the guy who's like, no, this is disgusting, like, but play it in a storyline angle, like not say that this is terrible storytelling.
Like he could take jabs at it, but in a kayfabe way almost.
Yeah.
I think he could do that very well. I totally see him doing this. And I think the word that I heard from my sources, which was the internet website I looked up, said that it's not now, but it's inevitable. Is what's going around. That's the big rumor, is that it's not now, but it's inevitable. And the way you can tell it's not now and it's inevitable is the fact that they didn't bring Punk back yet to go against like AEW. Because imagine, do you remember when Impact went against WWE the first time, Dalton? You know what I'm going to say?
Yeah, Bret Hart.
They brought Bret Hart back.
Hey, we're gonna be there on Monday nights against WWE, and then WWE was like,
Hogan and Bischoff bringing the war back.
Yeah.
The Monday Night Wars are back
"Hey, we're gonna have Bret Hart, who hasn't been on WWE TV since the screw job."
since the screw job.
Oh, birds, both of them.
Yeah.
It's like your opening salvo were the nukes.
Yeah.
Just like, no, we're not risking it.
They literally said grand open and grand closing to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And so imagine if it would have been AEW premiering this Wednesday, NXT. Oh, we're bringing Punk back.
On NXT.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
First set, Adam Cole versus CM Punk, NXT. Well,
Yeah. Game over. Good try, AEW. So that's how I can tell it's not now, but inevitable. I do think it's a possibility.
I mean, it's
and how surreal would it be to see CM Punk in whatever capacity in WWE again? They have proven time and time again that over a little time they're not afraid of building bridges back and fixing them. Bret Hart, Bruno Sammartino, the list
Warrior,
the
Macho
list goes
Man.
on and on.
No, Macho Man was back.
Yeah, he signed a deal with him right before he died.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
because like he did the WrestleMania.
All-Stars. WWE All-Stars.
Well, you can talk over me.
I thought you were going to say WrestleMania the game.
No, he did a full like promo for San Diego Comic-Con the year before it was the year before he passed with the purple and white WrestleMania. I think it was not. It was 7. It was 7. That defining moments. He did a promo for San Diego Comic-Con with that figure. And that was kind of his, he signed a legend deal.
He also did a promo for All-Stars, which they aired on TV because I saw it and I was like, oh my God, it's the Macho Man. I'm one of the biggest Macho Man fans of all time.
I don't even know if I ever saw that.
So he passed away.
And I think it's just because like, you know, there's the Warrior Award and things like that they always really highlight. And I guess I feel like they don't really give Macho Man that kind of spotlight.
Oh no!
Or am I crazy?
I mean, he had his own DVD came out. I mean, they've celebrated him time.
He
doesn't
have since then. I'm talking like more recently.
Recently, no.
He constantly has merch being pulled at
he's in the games.
Then this is just something just totally something I'm not aware of.
Just literally just as somebody that, because like out of this table, I think I have probably the most wrestling merchandise and like I keep up with that the most.
Mm-hmm.
Macho Man has way more stuff come out than like Warrior does.
Okay.
Hogan would beat him if he was still like, if that whole thing wouldn't have happened.
Right.
But like Macho Man, I would say once every 13, 14 Waves of Elites has a figure come out. If not, it becomes a ringside exclusive. Like they make shirts all the time.
Okay.
And then Pro Wrestling Tees like even does their shirts with it. Like he is
maybe that's what I'm thinking of because I know you've shown me stuff from like WrestleCrate and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like
I always forget that they do stuff with people that are like still involved with like WWE.
Yeah, it's people that own their own names.
And same thing with like Ringside Collectibles, even though those are WWE elites. Either way.
Yeah, but like Macho Man still does have a very big presence in WWE merchandise wise, and like every once in a while they'll do like wrestling or current people doing Macho Man impersonations.
And I think part of that reason too that like they're very willing to rebuild those bridges is
Triple H.
Triple H is a big part of it, but that's not what I was going to say. Go back and rewatch that. Was it the 30 for 30? That did it was the HBO thing that on Andre the Giant, and you can tell. Still, and like people bring it up on the subreddit, on like the Squared Circle subreddit all the time, of like you can tell how badly that affected Vince that he knows Andre past hating him, like he wasn't able to fix that relationship before it was too late, and I think that softened Vince a lot.
Yeah.
In regards to things
Macho,
like this,
because Macho's him leaving WWE, and I'm talking about the rumor, like the rumor I'm talking about, but more so that. Him leaving WWE to go to WCW, and not like he like ran out or like tricked him or anything. It's just the fact that I want to wrestle, you don't want me to wrestle, so I'm leaving. That really, from everything I've always read, it really broke Vince McMahon's heart. Like he hated because how many other wrestlers left for the other company that Vince actively celebrated up until the moment they left? That there was like this is Macho's last appearance. Everybody loved Macho.
The number of times that people absolutely did screw him over.
Lex Luger.
Yeah.
Any number of people.
Yeah. I actually have one that's very current where they did that. Moxley.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. They put Moxley over like a madman before he left.
Like they gave him the special and everything.
I know what you're talking about. I misinterpreted what you meant. Like I thought you meant that you like Moxley screwed over.
No. But I also think a part of that is that this is the Triple H era, at least in part, and Triple H is much better about it. But this is back in the 90s when Vince was like the man.
There was an active war going on,
right?
That like they could tell was starting up. Which, in fairness, there could be one actively starting up now, like tonight. But, I think the Andre thing and then having somebody like Triple H kind of come in and, like, be the liaison to fix all these.
And help kind of be the middleman between people, someone like Vince and Bruno.
That's been the thing. Like, I think that was the story between Bruno and then Warrior.
Yeah.
Like, where Triple H has just kind of been
he was the mediator.
Repairman, man. All that. We know that
Mediator.
mediator.
Yeah, I was going.
But with this one, like the CM Punk one, this is a weird kind of dynamic.
Triple H isn't going to be that guy
because Triple H was the one that was actively being shit on by CM Punk.
See, I think that's the exact reason why he is the guy. I think if Triple H swallows his pride and reaches out to Punk and says, "I'm sorry,"
if he can prove to Vince like, "Hey, I know there's money on the table right now that we are all just not getting," because and some people that are stupid will be like, "Well, his stock has dropped since he lost in the UFC." All you have to say is CM Punk is going to be on the first episode of SmackDown on Fox. And that will be bigger. That would be bigger than the Brock Lesnar Kofi match.
Which, by the way, funny you should mention that because in that interview Punk did, he said, do you remember when, like 2 years ago in 2017 when The Rock called me? He said, Rock, he's like, Rock, aren't you doing something this Friday? Maybe give me a call.
Give me a call, Dwayne.
Yeah. So, which is really funny because if you remember the pipe bomb, how critical he was of Dwayne Johnson, which was fantastic.
Because like that was the best thing of the two podcasts. Because like I was like in my junior year of college whenever that first podcast happened with Punk and Cabana, and they did that one. It broke Colt's website.
It broke the internet.
Yeah.
Like
literally.
the only way you could listen to it the first 3 days is if you found it on YouTube, which is how I did it. The next week or like 2 weeks later, because they had to repair the site and get like the servers back up and everything because it crashed, they did like a follow-up podcast. And they were like, yeah, so Dwayne texted me asking me why so many people were pissed off at him because in that first podcast, he was very critical of The Rock because like he wanted that WrestleMania match and like
Dwayne got it.
Well, and it wasn't even that Dwayne got it. It was that Dwayne and Cena got it. Even though, like, it probably should have been a triple threat for the WWE Championship match to give CM Punk that WrestleMania main event, which he rightfully deserved.
Well, hey,
at that time.
So there's still hope.
I mean, you never want to say never. I personally would love to see one more, especially with the way the WWE, like, the landscape is now of WWE Universe. There's so many matchups that we didn't get to see or we got to see very small of, like, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. We got like one or two solo matches whenever they were the Shield was going on. I would love to see that. I would love to see CM Punk and Daniel Bryan again. There's like so many that I think would be really good. The Cena that could be Cena's last matches against Punk. Like there's a lot of moving parts that if we threw CM Punk in there, there'd be a lot of money on the table.
Punk did say, and then I'll get to Ace and I'm done. Punk did say that he doesn't miss wrestling, but he misses performing. He doesn't miss the wrestling, like the bumps and all that. He doesn't miss that aspect of it, but he does miss performing. So I think there could be something down the line. I 100% believe it.
I also 100% believe that if he signs with WWE in any capacity, I refuse to believe that there is a 0% chance that we will never see him wrestle. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And he won't have at least one more match of something. Also, one of the names that you didn't say that I'm kind of surprised you didn't, AJ Styles is in WWE now.
Oh, hell yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
the rosters are so huge because like
like the roster, like have him do just a run of just give him that Kurt Angle final going away, and then have Baron Corbin beat him at WrestleMania.
Also, I mean, throughout other names, Finn Balor, Aleister Black.
No,
there's a laundry list of people. Zack Ryder.
The roster, like
visit that one.
There's a lot of it's easy to
No
forget.
Way Jose.
Look at when you look at the storytelling, it's easy to forget like how stacked the WWE roster actually is.
Yeah, I was just thinking of ones that I like would want to see just then, and AJ completely slipped my mind.
And then we might get AJ back in WWE too. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, AJ Lee. I was about to say like
too many AJ. Oh, they'd have to change their name though. All right. Other news: NWA Power premieres October 8th. I actually read through the spoilers.
That's next week,
and looks like a good show. I won't say any spoilers.
There was one decision made that I really hate.
Is it a tag team decision?
Yes. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
We're not going to get into it because we're not going to get into spoilers. But
I will say Marty Bell was there and Thunder Rosa, who are two of my favorite women in professional wrestling.
That's where Colt Cabana is. That's where James Storm is. Nick Aldis, of course.
Rock and Roll Express.
Mr. Kennedy. Eli Drake.
Although the report I saw called him Eli Dark. And I was like, that's a badass name. Keep it.
Damian Sandow. Like, yeah, they've got a lot of really, really good talent.
I don't like the set.
I still haven't seen images from it. So
listening to you talk about the roster, I'm just going to say it out loud. It just screams Impact, right? Impact circa 2000.
I mean, there's a lot of people that were with Impact. Yeah.
Like I saw someone put a message on there being shitty because shitty people are shitty. That was like, man, it's just a roster full of people even TNA wouldn't push. And it's like, well,
which is
shut
incorrect
your mouth.
because it's a lot of people that TNA pushed very, very hard
And we're really good at what they
for
do.
a significant amount for a not unsignificant amount of time.
I'm honestly surprised about Mr. Kennedy. I actually thought he was retired. I really did. So yeah, it's very cool. That premieres on October 8th, which is what day is that?
I believe it's a Tuesday. I'll double check it.
Too much wrestling. Dalton, I do not like
Yeah,
your
it is.
face.
It's a Tuesday.
Is it because of the thing we were talking about?
Big NXT reveal.
Can I see it, please? Can you show it to me right now?
Not saying it out loud,
Not saying it out loud.
No.
but it's fine. What's the next story?
Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Renee Young is going to host WWE Backstage on Fox Sports 1 with Booker T, which ties right into that
Yeah,
Punk
that's what we're
story because
talking
that's kind of what it was coming from. Are you sad to see Renee Young off commentary? Because I was always a big proponent for her to be on commentary, but she got a lot of criticism for it. I don't think it was all her fault. I think a lot of it's Vince McMahon being in your ear saying, go, oh. And she did. But apparently people didn't like it.
She listened.
I'm going to speak to it in a way that like Dalton will talk about it with like wrestling stuff, but it's like commentary is a lot harder than you think it is. Like we all know that because even just doing because we've all done it, but like doing it live, especially like I could not imagine doing commentary live with someone yelling at me in my ear.
Yeah, because you've had Billy in your ear occasionally, but imagine if it was not
No,
Billy.
I didn't.
Oh, you never had
never
it?
in his
No,
ear.
I didn't have so I take that back. I have for Super Show, I had one of the mics that you and Mandy had, but I had it turned very, very down because he knew that if he needed to get my attention, like he would say, like there was something specific that I needed to know, I could listen for that. But otherwise, I was like, whatever was going, like, okay, the time's being called, anything like that, I was not listening to because I was calling the match.
Right.
So having someone in your ear doing that while you're trying to put together a sentence is hard.
Yeah.
There were times at this last show that Marco came and sat down next to me. It was like joking around and like he would just kind of say like mutter things and I couldn't respond and I felt bad that I couldn't say anything. But like even that, like having just even that little bit of distraction while trying to call was like, oh, okay, this is.
So if you had Jason in your ear or me in your ear or somebody in your ear just yelling, Asa, just yelling at
Say
you,
this,
do
say
this,
this,
do
say
this,
this,
do
say
this.
this. Yeah.
It'd probably drive you nuts. Mick
Oh, yeah.
Foley very famously talked about how he hated commentary for that reason.
And Renee she was never the best at the table, but like she didn't need to be.
She was so much better in
She
NXT.
yeah, and I think she was more comfortable in NXT
Yeah.
too. But I also think that she is. I think I'm better at commentary than I am at doing backstage interviews. I think I'm okay at backstage interviews. I don't think there's anything I don't really do anything special there. She is phenomenal at doing those backstage interviews and doing this kind of show. Like if this is kind of a talking smack style show, then hell yeah, it's going to be amazing and she's going to crush it.
Miss talking smack.
Cause and then Booker T's going to be a part of it. Kathy Kelly is supposed to be a part of it. And then there's going to be kind of like that rotating
Maybe
list
CM Punk.
of people. Yeah. CM Punk if that's where CM Punk ends up,
Or
I
Phil.
think, there's no way. There's no way. That'd be funny. Actually, that would be kind of great if they just
CM
bring
Punk's not bad.
if they bring in special WWE correspondent Phil Brooks.
Yeah.
Not CM Punk though. CM Punk's not back. Phil Brooks is back.
What if they get
and they act like
CP
they're
Monk?
It's when did what was Fozzie's original singer's name?
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
yes, Mongoose McQueen.
Yes. They bring in Mongoose McQueen, but not Chris Jericho.
God, I forgot that era of Fozzy where they were portraying characters that were trapped in Japan since the 80s, and now they came back and released albums in that old 80s style. Whoa, I forgot that was a thing. Dalton, you were going to say something, and we kept cutting you off.
No, I was gonna say I recently, like whenever we did Cage Chaos together, boy, I am dog shit at commentary.
No, you're not.
Well, it was like a year.
It's been a
since you've
year
done
since
it.
I've
Yeah.
done it, and I was like, that was my first time ever doing it live, and I was
it's a
like,
whole other animal. Isn't
yeah, I was just like, and I like my thought, and all right, I thought cocky. I was like,
Boys.
I've been wrestling for a year, like. I kind of know how it works a little bit more. I'll be able to give some more input. And then you put the mic in front of me, and then I went thought dumb, and I'm like, I appreciate Asa so much more now. Like I needed that show to realize how much I loved you on that aspect.
The one time I did live commentary with Asa,
That was right, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went terribly. Asa was legitimately mad at me, and I felt bad. But I maintained that part of it was I could not hear you.
Yeah, no.
I could not hear you because it was so loud.
And that was before the headsets, right?
No, yeah, we definitely did not have the headsets.
We just
then.
had mics like this, and we were trying to hear everything at once. And
But it was also a 3-person booth, so
yeah,
like
and with no headsets, like
and I was healing. I was healing McHealerton.
Yeah, because like the headsets
Got
made
my
like
heels on my wheels.
the headsets were lovely. Like, because
those are great.
I heard you the entire time. Everything was super clean. Like, I was able to think. I wasn't hearing double. It was phenomenal. That being said, I don't like doing live commentary.
Good news, everybody.
Yeah. So, like, I'm really happy that the lip healed up properly and I didn't need surgery.
Anyway, point is Renee Young going to AEW. All right.
What? I don't think that's the point of that story.
I meant to mention this during the CM Punk thing because is this confirmed? This is not confirmed yet. That John Morrison is going back to WWE.
Not
That's
confirmed.
huge.
Not confirmed.
If true,
this
huge.
is Mike Johnson from PW Insider. He is confirming, but there has not
he's
been.
usually pretty good.
Yeah, no, yeah, he is one of the top tier of the wrestling like journalist side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that is the report. That is the rumor that John Morrison will be returning to WWE. We don't know. We don't have any sort of start date. We don't know if he's going to go as John Hennigan, if he's going to return as John Morrison.
I imagine John Morrison.
All that I know is that give me the Dirt Sheet 2.0, Miz and Morrison versus Zayn and Nakamura, you fucking cowards. Give it to me now, right now. Like if that, because like I don't know what kind of like non-compete deal he had with Impact because he's been gone from there since he lost the title to Brian Cage. He's made a couple appearances on Being the Elite apparently, so a lot of people kind of expected him to go to AEW.
I did.
So it's interesting to see, but you know that could be like a surprise return for SmackDown Live on Friday because this is the first week where.
Also, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get the we'll get the NXT class announcements where like we'll see Shane Strickland and like the property of the Performance Center thing, but I don't think we're gonna get re-signing like reports anymore like we used to because now it's gonna be like because I feel like we are kind of gonna be in the beginning of this war where it's just like no, we're gonna play everything super close to the vest now. To kind of prove our point.
The difference, though, is like most of the time when those people, when they had like their Performance Center shirts and they're standing in the crowd at TakeOver, is that what you mean?
No, like the ones that it's like where like Daniel Eads like had a tryout. And like we'll see those still.
Oh, you mean like WWE.com is not going to spotlight the newest class of NXT stuff?
No, I think they'll still do that, but I don't think it's going to be like WWE signs John Morrison because they would do that every once in a while. Like in 2006, they announced that they re-signed Jeff Hardy like 4 weeks before Jeff Hardy showed back up, and they would do that from time to time. But I think everything's going to be more of like the AJ Styles and the club thing, where it's like
no, and that's what I mean. Like I think we are more likely to see him just appear, like he will run in and make the save as Nakamura and Zayn are double teaming Miz, something like that. Like because they haven't done stuff like that in a while. It is usually like this, aside from like when they do show up as with NXT, major names or major returns. You know, people like Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, like people that we would know, but not maybe not the general WWE, maybe even kind of general NXT audience.
That's
would be aware of.
That's the one thing about War Games I'm really excited about that I'm going to make the joke whenever it happens is, I'm excited to see who's going to be sitting front row in better seats than me.
God, you know, all that, I only heard about 10% of what you said, but what really struck me is, I'm just kidding, Daniel Eads. What happened to him? Man, what a great potential talent. Like I haven't kept up with him since we met him at Stride, and you know he had the NXT. What's he doing? Do you know?
I haven't seen him since
because that guy had money written all over him.
Is he at the Performance Center?
He might. He might be. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen him since. I think he was on the last time I saw him was the night of my first match. So it's been a year. That sounds right. Yeah, because I saw him. He was at the show the week before, and then he was at that show where I wrestled, and then I haven't seen him since. And that would have been August 11th of last year.
Saw him at the Stride show where I did ring announcing.
The cage matches,
and just I remember what a nice guy he was.
He's a sweetheart, yeah.
How good he is, and what a great look. I mean, that guy, like I said, has money written all over him. I really hope he's going to do well in the business.
I think he's still doing indie stuff.
I just haven't seen him in forever. There's a good chance he was because I know he's done stuff up.
I'm looking at his Twitter right now, and he's tweeting stuff. Of like independent shows that he's been working.
Gotcha.
So
best to him, best to John Morrison, obviously.
So yeah, that's super exciting if it's true.
Yeah,
like I said, Mike Johnson is a pretty reliable source within, and I don't think he would post something like that with that kind of like we are confirming with multiple sources if they weren't
confirming with multiple
sources. super confirmed. So that's super cool. I'm interested to see what they do with him because again, look at the roster WWE has right now. Not only is it super talented, but you could make the argument that it is kind of bloated.
Yeah.
They have too many people. So
do you think AEW could have used him more? Like they needed him more?
I think AEW also has a very bloated roster for having only a 1 2-hour show a week.
But I would make the argument, and I know you're going to disagree with me, and I welcome the disagreement.
The star power.
The star power. I think John Morrison would have lent a little bit extra because I remember the thing that Omega said about real stars versus up and coming talent. There's only a handful of as a genuinely casual wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan, but I don't watch as much as you guys do, especially indie stuff. I know more people on NXT than I know in AEW, so I think John Morrison would have done well to help bridge that gap.
But here's the thing with like the star power that AEW has. They have Cody Rhodes, which he was a major player in WWE for 8 years.
Major players are strong.
All right, he was
mid to high.
All right, mid to high at best.
We'll agree on
that. Okay.
They have Jericho.
They have Jericho.
Yeah,
top
which
tier.
Okay, you have like
Jericho and Moxley.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
I also forgot about him
because he hurt.
Well,
he's not. He's sick. That's a very difference.
It's a pain. It's a pain.
But like with your star power, you really don't need a lot of former WWE stars. Whenever you have John Moxley, who like a year and a half ago was WWE champion, 2 years ago was WWE champion, and then you have Chris Jericho, which like we've talked about this a million times before, so you're gonna hear it a million and one. If you watched wrestling in the 90s, you knew who Chris Jericho was. If you watched wrestling in the 2000s, you know who Jericho is. If you watched wrestling 2 years ago, you know who Jericho is. If you're a New Japan fan that only watches Japanese wrestling, guess what? You know who Chris Jericho is. They don't really need a whole bunch more WWE stars because it's like we got a hook right here. And then we also have Cody Rhodes, who was all over WWE. We have John Moxley, who was all over WWE.
I think you're missing the biggest point, though.
That they could use more star power?
No. I mean, they can, but the name Johnny Dynamite would have been phenomenal.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you really like counter-arguing it? But okay, I got you.
I was thinking Johnny Elite.
Either one.
Johnny All.
Either one.
Johnny All. How much did Johnny win? Johnny All?
Johnny All.
All right, so that's the news of the week. Let's recap.
Johnny Wrestling. That's got a nice ring to it.
What about Johnny Reb?
Oh man, I think you would really like Gregory Irons' podcast.
I have it on my phone.
It's Gregory Irons, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't like
Iron, but yeah.
Oh.
You also
did I?
Yes.
Gregory Irons' podcast is what I said.
There was a second one. It's fine. We're moving on.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Impact. Asa, give us that Impact recap.
The big thing was the wedding. This was the episode that had the wedding.
How'd it get messed up?
The very storied wedding about all of the
things that went wrong during filming it and all that. So the wedding itself, it was better than it had any right to be.
Well, that's good.
It was way better than expected. There was some dumb stuff to it. There was some fun stuff. Weird choice to have Ethan Page in because they asked if there were any objections. And I don't remember what the first one was, but Ethan Page then stood up and said that, yeah, I object. Impact treats us like shit. And just like, that's not what he said, but he put out some too real.
You know what it is?
Like there's some legitimate complaints there that it's weird to have him, who is a big heel.
Yeah, it's the ego.
Be the one to air those grievances. And he's like, oh, but for the ceremony, no, nothing. That's good job.
That sounds very tongue in cheek. Like it's almost like if CCW gave us a camera, just like guys, do whatever you want. And we're just like, you want to dick with them a little bit?
Yeah, kind of like, but it clearly was scripted. I don't know. It was weird. They did a. There was a cool bit. There's a funny bit because they're kind of putting TJP and Fallah Bahh together. They were giving each other crap about how they were dressed. Rosemary materialized in the chair.
Well,
and it's
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, no, it's I know. And then Fallah Bahh got scared, so he went to run away, and TJP was just like, without even looking, just like, nope, sit down. Like it was funny. Like it's good stuff. Taya Valkyrie's continuing to do she thinks that her and Rosemary are best friends, but they're clearly not. They did the thing where LAX's music hit, and then it was the North dressed as LAX.
Uh-oh.
It was real dumb, but I loved it because they're finally letting Ethan Page really, really talk on the mic.
Oh, so was that the picture I saw where Ethan Page looked like a gangster?
Yeah,
okay,
because they were
that makes
dressed.
more sense,
They were dressed as LAX.
I thought it was a Photoshop.
They ran down Conan until he brought out Rhino and RVD, I think. So like that looks like it's the next.
I knew that was
tag
coming.
team feud. There was a really great segment with Moose in a octagon running down Ken Shamrock. Because that's gonna be the match at Bound for Glory.
Have you seen Shamrock? He looks great. He
Yeah.
really does.
Okay.
This is probably gonna be better than you're expecting.
Yeah.
I
Also,
hope so for Moose's sake.
remind me that you were down on Shamrock after the show because I have something to counter with that is not show appropriate.
Fair enough.
But so.
I get big. I forgot.
But also
yeah.
that promo itself was really like that interview. That segment is worth watching on its own.
Moose is very underrated.
He can be, and he's really hitting his stride as this like heel character. Like now that he's still Mr. Impact, but it's the like, hi, I'm your longest tenured person here. What are you doing?
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Other stuff happened, but then the big thing that ended it was so the wedding section. The wedding itself was pre-taped. From like because they were broadcasting live, but they were airing video of it. It's not like it was there in the arena. But they're like, okay, now let's all go to the reception, and the reception was at the arena, and that's when Sami Callihan came out and kind of was doing his shtick. He had his empty champagne bottle because he didn't get invited to the wedding, so he just sat and drank the whole time. He swung the bottle at Cage when they got close enough, and it shattered over Melissa Santos' head.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Yeah. So that way, and the way he sold the remorse was real good. Like Sami Callihan also, I think, kind of underrated for even some of the stuff, like some of the crap we've given him over the Eddie Edwards thing. But like,
oh no, he spit on Jim Cornette. He was back in my good graces.
Also, fuck Jim Cornette.
But he real good, and that segment was that it was a strong episode of Impact. So
Cool.
Again, it's on Twitch. No one has any response.
I swear to God.
No one has any reason to not be watching it.
I forgot it's on Twitch.
Oh my God, are you serious right now?
You notice I don't do that anymore, right? I let you talk to me about Impact, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. Knowing good and well, like, I had to watch AEW while you guys did CCW Live. I'm aware.
I always wanted to watch on Twitch. Switch.
Switch
on Switch.
Asa, I'm not doing this.
I'm not doing the bit. Raw. Rusev, Lana's
guess
fucking
who's getting it raw?
Lana's fucking Lashley.
There it is.
Because Rusev comes back last week to destroy Mike Kanellis. Maria's like, no, he's not actually the father of my child. Rusev comes out and saves Rollins
Baffling.
for no reason. But
Well,
then
actually-
he gives an interview and he says, now you owe me one, and I want a Universal Championship match. So Lesnar murders Ray and Dominic early in the night. Ray's out of that match. So then it becomes Rusev versus Rollins. And then Lashley's music hits. He comes out with Lana, and then they start making out on the stage. And what the fuck is with Raw making people... Do we know, like, Heyman's porn search now? Like,
He's
is
a
that
cuck, right? He likes cuckolding a
like,
lot.
is he super into this
I'm pretty
voyeuristic?
sure I saw that on Bang Bus. I'm not kidding.
Because what the fuck is going on?
You saw a match on Bang Bus?
Oh, I saw a match.
Was there a lot of chain wrestling?
Well, the
lot
match
of groundwork.
was one vagina to one penis.
There was a chain.
So what I really found funny about that...
It's rope is the technical term.
Well, it wasn't rope. It was just as long as rope. And it wasn't Bobby Lashley. It was Lexington Steele. Same guy. Anyway, so the funny part about that is I just read an interview where they were talking about Lana. They're like, yeah, we just don't have any. We want to use it, but we don't know how. 2 days later, have her make out with Lashley for no fucking reason.
There was
Lashley won a bet in the back, right?
there was someone, I think it was from ProWrestling.net, because that's where I read like all the recaps. He mentioned that like someone told him that they were at live events like over the last couple weeks, and like there were WWE people there encouraging "We Want Lana" chants.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know.
do you remember? I think it was Total Divas. It was years ago, and I don't watch Total Divas. I know Dalton has before. I don't know if you have.
Nope.
Was there an episode where she ran into her ex-boyfriend who was African American?
In fairness to me, I haven't seen Total Divas in like 6 years.
So there's this part of me, the weird part of me that just remembers that episode, and I'm thinking like, did they go like, well, she had a black boyfriend that was on Divas once. Do you want to just try that again to fuck over Rusev?
Didn't they get kicked off of that show because people cared about them more than the Bella Twins? Because like they were
That's
more
not
entertaining.
So can we talk about where this came from though? I thought a fun segment on the show that I was worried about originally was the Miz TV with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, where I will not watch it because you all know my stance and you all have a similar stance on the Saudi Blood Money shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was pretty cool that Hogan and Flair teased fighting, which God no. But then said we're no spring chickens, but we're gonna set up this 5-on-5
you're not a
match.
fall chicken. Well, I mean, you're a fall risk, but you're.
Someone on
I like that one.
I think it was Matthew from Botchamania even posted a thing of just like Team Hogan versus Team Flair ? And it like cuts to TNA did it years ago, like they were captains of teams.
What I got from that though, one was I thought it was a fun segment, and I wish this match was on like Raw or a pay-per-view that isn't from murdering journalist money.
Mm-hmm.
But my other thought was when I saw Hogan and Flair go at it, and they're like, you want to do this? I thought, goddamn, Hogan still looks pretty good. Flair looks like a fucking natural disaster.
Flair looks like someone who was on his deathbed like 4 months ago.
Yes.
For the third time.
Yeah.
Yes. Meanwhile, Hogan, I don't want to see it, but if you leave the sunglasses on him and the shirt and stuff, he looks like he could go. He can't.
Until you see him move.
Right, but he looks like it. Like that dude's in great shape. But I think this could be a fun match. Flair and Hogan are still two of the best in the business when it comes to talking, and I think it could be fun. But again,
Well, then
on
let's
the
get him.
Saudi
Let's
show.
get him a podcast. All right. Let's keep.
I
it.
would listen to that podcast.
No, honestly, though,
I mean,
I'm-
I would too. But what I'm saying is,
This story being isolated to Saudi, which means I don't care. Like I don't have to care.
Right.
Great. This is the best case scenario for me.
Except that they pulled in Rusev to turn
doesn't
him
matter.
face for this.
Did he turn face?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
So Raw was dumb. We can't talk about SmackDown because it hasn't happened yet.
But the
Yeah,
Raw,
see,
the Raw
this is-
set was cool. We'll say that. Points to the Raw set.
yeah,
I thought it was cool.
I can see the videotape spinning above. Also, Return to Pyro.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
And because again, I said it in the group chat, and it's like, of course, Pyro doesn't make a show, but it absolutely,
adds a little.
but it makes you feel like you're watching a more entertaining product than you really are. The opening, like watching the Raw opening Pyro,
Brought
like
back-
hit me with nostalgia
Yeah,
of just
yeah.
like,
The
yeah,
fuzzies.
this
Yeah.
is cool. And then look at certain people, like imagine Kane without the fire from the ring posts or
Right.
the big explosion. If he never had it,
Lesnar, it still clicks in my brain sometimes when he jumps onto the apron. Now, Allie, you never got to really see this, but back in the day, he would do that, and then there would be corner like.
I think I've seen clips.
Yeah, where it would shoot across the ring, and it looked
Yeah.
awesome. And he does it now, and like a little part of my brain from 2003 is like, wait, somebody missed their cue.
yeah, it still doesn't.
Can I just randomly, because we're talking about it, tell you what my favorite pyro was? Legitimately, this isn't a joke.
DX.
Is it Randy Orton?
Shawn Michaels when he
Oh.
when he
Oh,
would get in the
the
ring and stretch out and
fucking-
and the oh my god,
I was going to say
Loved it.
X-Pac because
His was cool too.
they did such a good job timing it to his
They
crotch
did.
chops.
They did.
I loved Randy Orton's.
Oh, the fall.
The shower of sparks and him just hitting the pose when it was peak cocky Orton.
Christian when he even had the gold
Yeah,
come down on
the
him.
same thing. Like
It was
they've reused that because like ADR had it. JBL used it. Remember JBL's championship celebration?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just a 5-minute pyro show.
Yeah.
That cost
So they used to go all out on that stuff.
$40,000 just for that bit.
Also on Raw, you mentioned Lesnar killing Ray and Dominic. I want to put over that was a cool segment. Lesnar looked more like a beast, like a motivated beast in that segment than he has in a long time. And that beatdown looked legit. It was scary. I was actually scared for Dominic. That bump where he grabbed him from the outside or from the other side of
And
the
he
barricade. That looked scary. That was scary.
That segment made me want the chalkline jacket that Ray was wearing 10 times more.
Jesus.
I saw it. I was like, that's what Derek texted me. That was the important thing for Monday night. You
Of
watching
course.
Raw?
Of course. Yeah.
Don't give me hope. Don't give me. Don't.
See,
Oh,
there's
that
a
it's
chance.
going to be the reason
Because
that
now-
Kofi retains.
Because now I have it, and maybe that, and honestly, like I thought that, but then Rusev getting cucked, like really might have like established it too, because like, all right, so we're getting, well, I mean, look at him, he's clearly a soy boy. Kofi and
Rusev Day.
Kofi, yeah, and now look
Now
at,
it's
now
fuck my
look
wife
at it.
day.
Rusev's day to hide in the closet. Peaky Blinders. The
No, he's there
Co-
videotaping.
Well, no, somebody else is videotaping. He's just sitting on the couch adjacent.
Kofi Lesnar on Friday. And I'm like, okay, Kofi had a great run. But this might be like, Ray could cost Lesnar the match.
That would be
Dominic
their out.
could cost Lesnar the match. Like, that could be their out to keep the belt on Kofi.
But at that-
which I would love to happen. I don't think it will until... Look how they massacred my boy.
They owe you.
Just, yeah, like, so, you know, clearly I can't have both.
I think
A good Rusev storyline and Kofi as champion. But maybe they'll let me have one.
I think
Or maybe they're going to take everything from me.
Well, we don't know. We don't know where this cuckold storyline's going. It may make a left turn and be amazing.
what if the twist is Rusev's into it?
Wait a minute.
But he was so aroused that's so he gave up the Universal.
Nope.
He didn't care about the Universal
Here it is.
Championship. He didn't want to get things. He didn't want to sword fight Rollins for it. This is the worst show we've ever done.
My thought was going to be it was going to
Their
return. The reason he stopped wasn't because he was enjoying it. It's because Lana's been cucking with Rusev and Lashley doing it instead. She's the actual cuck. He just feels betrayed this once, and it was actually a backstab moment.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
backstab. I get you.
Yeah, there it is.
What is the obsession with Raw now?
Didn't Graves use the term cuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
beta cuck.
He called some, but it
Mike
wasn't.
Bennett,
No,
wasn't
no, it was Mike.
Yeah, it was Bennett. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bennett.
Called him a beta cuck, and I
Jesus
popped. I was like,
Christ.
Jesus.
What is happening in professional wrestling these days?
Heyman.
Nothing good.
Oh, Heyman bringing back that 90s feel. He can get grimier.
Yay.
All right.
We need the
let's-
Dudleys to cut a promo.
Let's talk about Hell in a Cell.
That's this Sunday already.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, well, I'm happy I'm not wrestling on Saturday.
As opposed to Heat in the Cage with Lashley and Lana. Sexual stuff. Do you have the card for Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
Let's go over it real quick, and then we'll say CCW was nice, and we'll leave.
That can't be right.
Uh-oh.
There's only 3 matches announced.
Word. All right, let's
This will be
talk
a quick
about
show.
It will take place on October 6th, so I'm not wrong. Wikipedia has 3 matches announced for Hell in a Cell.
Let me
I'll
look it
go
up
on
real quick.
WWE.
Yeah.
So right now, the matches that we have are Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and that is the Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship. We have Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship inside of a Hell in a Cell against Sasha Banks. And then we have the tag team match, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper.
That is all that's listed on WWE.com as well.
All right, well, those.
Oh my god. You guys.
We're gonna just see Lashley just.
That's yeah.
It's going to be a
live
40
sex celebration, part 2.
They're just celebrating that it's Sunday.
The return of Bald Bull.
Jesus.
Is that a
fucking
Punch-Out character?
Christ.
Because he's gonna punch it out. You know what I mean?
Mother. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, did we ever get off the pre-show? Are we still recording
Why
that?
is legit though? Like honestly. Honestly.
You see that we're
No,
a
I'm out
little
of the
short
bit.
on time, and you're like, I need to make it longer.
No, I don't think we're short on time.
That's what Lana thought. That's why she got with Lashley. Because she needed to make it longer.
Who?
what is this show?
Who decides that okay, Maria emasculating and humiliating Mike, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Now let's have Lana cheat on Rusev just openly for
Yeah.
no reason. Like, why? What is the...
Kicks and gigs?
It's that old 90s wrestling thinking of like women are evil, women are bitches, women are sluts, women are whores, that kind of thing.
But it's weird that you have that at the same time as like a genuinely kind of interesting Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte story going on.
Well, didn't they say before that they kind of wanted to bring a lot of that old 90s attitude back, kind of? That was something I read that they were
Well,
trying
then
to
make
appeal.
the characters interesting. Don't.
There's things that can stay in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And
I
this-
don't like it. We're making
women are
jokes.
crazy.
Ray's gonna make out with Sable out at the entrance ramp on Friday.
No, excuse you.
Did you
Ray
tag
is,
yourself in for that?
Yeah, I did.
Ray is happily married. Dominic.
Oh, that's way better.
I
That's
saw that
substantially
on
better.
Mexican Bang Bus.
Dominic gonna be pulling more tail than this. Give up.
He's going to take the
I
one out
give
of
it.
that
Hit us with those links,
619.
Asa.
Yeah, are we good?
I'm sorry. Let me repeat it. He's going to take the one out of that 619. That one deserved to be heard, damn it.
I heard
Also,
it.
Did it.
CCW.
Oh my
I don't think
goodness.
we should probably record a second podcast
Oh my
and put a
goodness.
separate upload of the
Fuck it.
pods
just-
because I don't think they want whatever anything
Just,
that's been happening.
just really quick. Let's just a quick recap. just a few minutes. Best of the best 4 on Saturday. 0 cuckolding at all, which was great. Here's a couple things that did go really well. I'm just going to name a couple things off. Asa did commentary by himself, a whole show. Congrats to Asa.
Oh, you say congrats and wait until you hear it and then get back to me.
Dalton had a fantastic match with Ray Fury and Hollis Jarreau.
Yep. I was really happy with it.
We saw the debut of the King's Court, which was really cool. Cash Borden made his debut.
Oh, that made me so happy. I fucked with him so hard whenever I saw him on Saturday because I was like,
what are you doing here?
I know. I see that fuck like twice a month, and I'm like, you couldn't tell me? Like, and he's like, you're coming to where I'm at, and you could have just shot me a text so I wouldn't have been surprised.
Lee was, so during that segment, Lee was back by the sound area, like where I was, and he came walking by, and we just kind of, because I was still recording, so we kind of like, we exchanged looks and moved on, and then at the end, I was like, Cash Borden is in CCW, and then I make eye contact with Lee, and I'm like, and it's about damn time, and he's just like, he just gave me one of those.
When we pulled up to the show, the first thing I said, I asked Ali, I was like, isn't that the King's Court? The fuck are they doing? Isn't there an EIW show tonight? What are they doing here? Mm-hmm. And then I saw Cash, and I literally went, what's going on?
Jay Moore?
This is insanity.
Yeah, I love Cash to death. I've got to be in the ring with him 2 or 3 times.
He's such a nice guy. He actually had me as a friend.
Yeah, and he is.
That doesn't happen very often. I usually
so good.
Yeah.
Like, he is amazing. Like, yeah, he does his like hardcore deathmatch stuff, but like you get him in like a wrestling match, and it like he is just insane.
Remember the strap match that he had with
the dog collar?
Yeah,
was
probably that was my favorite match of that Stride show. Yeah, Cash Borden is, and I remember seeing him a long time ago and thinking like that dude's money. That it's like when we saw Roger the first time, and I was like, that guy's money.
Yeah, like
same thing.
The dude looks like a wrestler. Like Cash looks like a unique style of wrestler that you just don't really see a whole lot.
Right.
And if you see somebody like that, you don't think, and like I've heard Tyler talk about this on my 1-2-3 Sons all the time, but like when you see Cash Borden, you don't think technical wrestler. You don't think like 5-star technical match, but he can do it.
Yeah.
Like, and he has such a brilliant mind, but he also like can be a huge crowd favorite and get everybody behind him as a face, but then he's a mother effer as a heel.
Censoring that one.
I was happy to see him. I was a little bummed that he's not being brought in as a bad guy just because of how much fun because I haven't gotten to see him work as a heel a lot.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of
what
fun.
I see, I've loved. So I mean, not to say that it couldn't happen, but I was like, but like you said,
you
he's
saw
also
a lot of his
great.
he's
also great at being. He's phenomenal as a face. One thing that he does that's just a little touch is the filter he puts on his promos.
I was about to say I love his promos.
The old school VHS with like the timestamps and everything. Yeah. I think that's an awesome touch.
I legitimately, whenever I started doing, so I did. With House 100, I do those very hacker-style internet videos, and I think those are cool. And then I saw Cash's with the old-school videotape, and I went, fuck, that's good.
Yeah, he is someone who has a very, very clearly defined character.
Yes.
And he knows exactly how to play
Which is so much harder to do than I think anyone gives anyone credit for.
Yeah.
You know, to play a straight-up character and have a system, you know? Also on that show, just a bunch of great matches. All the matches were really good.
Honestly, like, this was probably one of the stronger shows CCW's put out. Like,
100%.
From an in-ring quality standpoint, like, everyone delivered if they didn't over-deliver.
Right.
Like
Jackson and Otis.
That triple threat match.
That first
match I had to call solo.
Yep.
That almost wore me out for the entire rest of the night.
Gosh.
Well, we said it was going to be match of the night even before we went in, and just hearing Austin and Ace and Blake in the back talk about the match, I was like, this is going to blow the roof off the place. Yeah. And it did. It 100% did. And Austin...
It's one of those, like, I kind of hate calling matches that good. And it's the same thing like with like Jackson or like the majority of the matches that we get at CCW it's just like, oh, I have to be a part of this, like, in a meaningful way. And if I screw it up, then
it's on you.
Then it impacts the quality of the match as a whole. And that's like, oh no.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But I think everyone delivers. Everyone delivered on this night. Jackson and Otis had an incredible match. Mm-hmm. Scary spots on that.
I loved the story that Donnie and Justin told.
I didn't get to see the match.
I didn't get to see it at all.
So from where I got to watch it at, because the curtain at Charleston is up high enough that you can definitely see people's feet. Mm-hmm. And I wear really obvious red fucking shoes. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to stand there because I didn't want to distract. I didn't want anyone in the crowd.
Up for that reason.
Yeah. because I didn't want anyone. I'm sure, like you don't want anyone in the crowd going like, "Oh, that's Dalton. That's Shannon back there."
Especially whenever
Shannon,
I wasn't supposed to be there.
Shannon, like the kids screamed constantly. So I went and hid in a corner at a separate entrance, like behind. Actually, it was to your left, Asa.
Yeah.
And it was over in a corner. So I only got to watch about 3/4 of the ring though. So if they worked on the far side of the ring, I just couldn't see what was going on. So I only got to see part of it. But I heard it was a great match. I'm looking forward to what they do more. They said the whole card was good.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. Meklikov made his debut. Casey's Finest kind of made their debut.
I wish I would have known that was JJ's first match ever.
Yep.
Because otherwise I would have made a bigger deal about that. But I was super happy to see him. Q&A Clay did a great job. Like, I'm excited to see. I would like to see more of what they can do.
Marco was there. Obviously, it was great to see our friend Marco, who is now
and Logan
officially on AEW, so he can't really do these things anymore.
Yep.
Yeah,
his contract started yesterday.
Yep.
We got one last little appearance because he was like, "Hey, there's a show before it actually starts."
And so the last time Marco was here, his last ever thing was he laid me out with a code breaker. This time, the last thing he ever did was lay me out with a super kick. So, thanks, Marco. Oh, no, that's not true. Because then all of them super kicked Hollis.
Yes.
About 60 times.
Yeah.
Poor Hollis. Hollis is the MVP of wrestling forever.
Lori scared me, so I was semi-main. I literally, like, the second I went to the back, I went up to Ray Fury, and I was like, we good? And then I went to Hollis, like, we good? And then I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go watch and see what stupid shit they do.
And it was stupid as hell.
Yeah, and I didn't miss any of the match. So all of that shit started happening. And then, like, Lori said, like, because then everybody started running out. And Lori was like, aren't you supposed to be out there? And I looked and I was like, I started counting bodies. And then somebody ran to the back because they got hurt. And I was counting and I was like, oh shit, am I supposed to be out there? Like, and fortunately I counted a second time. I was like, no, we're good. And plus, like, I know how Jason is. If he would have seen me, he would have said something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun to see Hollis get super kicked like 8 times and then super kicked by everybody.
I maintain that the bump that Jackson took over the top onto the apron is it's the scariest thing I've ever seen live. And Allie, when we talked to him backstage, he was like, I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't feel it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah,
No.
ugh is the best reaction.
You don't feel it until the next day.
And then I said that to him, and he goes, eh.
But my
no,
God,
he's lying. Like, you feel it the next day.
that was a car wreck. That was a car wreck. That was the. All right, that's the show. CCW Best of the Best was great. We'll be back next week to preview our next show, which is next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
The 12th.
Which is going to be
Red Devil's
German
Revenge
Days. Red Devil's Revenge 4. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that next week. Until then.
And SmackDown's debut on Fox.
And week 2 of the Wednesday Night Wars. And we'll review Chikara, probably. In some way.
Oh, yeah, you guys will have an impression on that at least.
One of us will, more than likely. Or none of us.
Tuesday into Wednesday. I might be able to put an hour into it.
I'll give it a try. All right, Asa, hit us with those links.
Facebook.com/Podzilla1985, Twitter.com/Podzilla1985, and then, of course, Patreon.com/Podzilla1985. $1 gets you all of the pre-shows that we record. It's the sound tests that we do. They're typically a lot of fun. Just a lot of random, no topic. We just kind of
if you like what we did about like Lashley, it's a lot of like
yeah,
that.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you go to Patreon.com/Podzilla1985, when you're listening to this, there will be a free pre-show up from the one that we just recorded before this show. From now on, the first pre-show of the month will be free, give you a little bit of a taste. So hopefully, if you like our content and you want to support us, it's just $1 gets you all of the pre-shows that we do for the entire month before every single show that we put out. You also get the entire backlog of pre-shows. So it helps us out a lot. And I know it seems kind of like an insignificant amount, but it does really, really help us out a lot, and we appreciate everybody who checks it out. And even if you just go and check out the pre-show, share that around, or this episode. That's a great way to, if you don't want to give us any money, I totally get it.
Well, I kind of get it.
Then, I understand, and you can just share episodes like Chris R. I always see like retweeting podcasts on Twitter and stuff like that. So just getting us out there for more people. If there's someone that that likes wrestling or likes AEW and thinks that they'd enjoy us, give us a recommendation, or and review us on all of that.
Everyone loves us.
There's lots of ways that you can help us out, and even just little thing, even just listening to this means the world to us.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how much I can overstate that.
That's why we do it.
That it blows my mind that
that people know
the numbers that we get are more than 12.
And they keep getting bigger. 17, last count.
Really?
All right. Good night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Terrifying Tanner Thursday, the first spooky episode of the Halloween season. Was that scary?
Yeah.
Or is that the sound that Bobby Lashley makes? Is ooh when Lana's
Clapping cheeks.
Okay. What is life?
Good night, everybody.
See you in hell.